My name is Glen Cooper, and I'm just starting a business in Colorado. Let me tell you a little bit about who I am so you don't think I'm some sort of self-imposed guru. I'm not. And I don't predict the future, and I did change the title from 7 Trends That Fix Everything to 7 Trends That Can Actually Help Us. I'm still growing too, and that was a topic I gave Jane 2 months ago. And I've calmed the title down. I think I was on too much caffeine that day when I gave her that. But at any rate, I'm 63 years old, so I wasn't born yesterday. And for 30 years, I ran a business brokerage firm in the state of Maine called Maine Business Brokers, which still exists. And if you go to mainbusinessbrokers.com, you can still see my picture there as the founder and former president. But I sold it in May, and I trekked all the way across the country back to my home state of Colorado. I grew up in Fort Morgan, then went to high school in Boulder and University of Colorado. Then I left for the East Coast and started my own business back in 1981, Maine Business Brokers, built it to the largest intermediary and appraisal firm in Maine, selling businesses. And the 2008 recession wiped out half of the business brokers in the United States. And my sales in Maine went down 80%. Now, I don't know about your business, but when sales go down 80%, the bottom line looks pretty bad. So after 2.5 years of that kind of bottom line, because it didn't go back up, in the business brokerage business, business brokers sell businesses like realtors sell houses, right? And well, the housing market isn't so great either, but at least people have to buy houses still. People don't have to buy businesses at this point, and sellers can't really get what they want because their sales are down, their retirement plans are shot, their savings are down, their investments are down. Buyers don't have any hope that the future will be better, or they're very confused about it, so they weren't buying, and the banks weren't lending. So you add all those 3 things together, and that's why my sales went down by 80%. Luckily, I found somebody who had more money than I did that wanted to own my business, and that has worked out. But I went through a divorce with a 32-year marriage history, a 37-year relationship. So, and coming all across the country, pretty much not broke, but awfully far down from where I was, struggling to start all over again. If any of you have any pain in this room as people, I feel your pain. I've been there, done that. And in this process of being a human being and trying to struggle at 63, and somebody's older than me over here, 77. I hope I look as good as you do when I'm 77, Dick, I really do. In that struggle, I have reinvented myself. For 30 years, I sold businesses. I sold over 500 small businesses, Main Street type mostly, and appraised many more than that, actually, over a 30-year career. And in that process, I learned to be a coach, a business coach, because we were coaching people constantly on how to sell their business, which is a very traumatic thing for most people. So in that process, I decided that I knew something about being a coach. I've started to study it. I am launching a business called GlenCooperColorado.com, and the website will be up in March. And so I'm starting to speak on the topics that I have learned over the years. And one of the things I've learned over the years is to pay attention to the trends. When you drive a car and you're driving down the highway at 75 miles an hour, you better be looking where you're going, right? And we all do, right? I hope they do. You don't put a blindfold on. You don't look the other way, I hope. You don't fiddle too much with electronics in your car. Try to talk on the cell phone. You look forward and you try to see what's happening ahead of you. And there's no difference in running a business, no difference in running your life. You really need to look ahead and see what's happening. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about trends. But today I want to talk about the trends that affect mostly small business. I mean, I could talk about global trends of environment and so forth, but I'm not going to do that. I have to limit my subject. So I've limited it to 7. And you have an article that I wrote. I don't expect you to read it. Please don't do it while I'm talking. You have my resume and stuff on the back, so you know who I am. You also should have a copy of the slides. Mine are all scribbled on, but you should have a copy of the slides. The slide presentation normally could take a couple hours. It could be a half-day seminar. I don't intend to read the slides. I don't intend to present all the slides. I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. But I want to give you a sense of what's going on and from my point of view, and then get your questions and feedback and try to give you some help today. You also should have my business card on the table. They're left in stacks there. Looks like this. So if you want to grab my card, you can have that. And if I can help you in any way, let me do it. So the 7 trends that can help us. I want to talk about the trends. I want to talk about the fundamentals behind the trends that I think are important to remember. It's very easy to get off on change and forget about the fundamentals. I want to take a little closer look at the trends, although that's the part that takes longer in this presentation than I have this morning, but we'll still go through it. You've got my long article, you've got my slides. And then I want to talk about the questions that why questioning works, why it's important to ask questions. First of all, change is getting faster. We kind of wish that change wasn't getting faster. We kind of wish that change would slow down, that somehow it would reverse. Let me tell you, change today in so many fields is exponential. So many variables, individual variables are changing exponentially that it's getting faster and faster. Let me give you an example to think about. If I ask you what you would prefer, $100,000 a day for the next month, or starting out with a penny and I'll double it every day, it would seem like you should pick the 100,000, because that way you'd have $3 million at the end of the day, of a 30-day month, right? But a penny a day grows to 5 million if I double it every day for 30 days. And that is an exponential change. But it doesn't show up as meaningful until the very last few days of the month. It curves like this. It is a curve that is typical of exponential growth. We are in exponential growth of many, many things in science, technology, and all. And as that exponential growth begins to curve up, and it is curving up in many, many parts of our businesses, we will be overwhelmed, and we already are overwhelmed. Science and technology, that's the second trend. Science and technology, the advances in science and technology are driving the trends. You all know that by your cell phones. How many new cell phones do we have to buy every 2 years, right? It seems like an incredible race, and it is an incredible race. To give you an idea of one of those exponential variables in science and technology, 40 years ago, the inventor, one of the chief executives of Intel, predicted that computer memory would double every 18 to 24 months. You know something? It has for that entire 40 years. And scientists that look at the way it's working say that it is going to peter out at some point, but probably. We don't know that for sure. But it looks like, based upon current technology, that doubling will continue at least till 2018. And since it's one of those exponential trends like that, that means in 2018, which is only 7 years away, our computer memory will be 32 times what it is today. 32 times. So our computers, our cell phones, and all the things we work with will have 32 times more capacity, predictably, by 2018. That's the kind of thing that means that the computers may now begin to invent themselves. They may be able to use computers to make computers. They may be able to use computers to advance robotics to the point where they're very human-like. It's a little scary, but we can still pull the plug, I hope. In this environment of rapid change that's getting faster and faster, of this technology that is racing ahead, people want more control. That's the third trend. People want more control. You want more control, don't you? Is there anybody in the room doesn't want more control of their life? Bob knows that. People go to Bob because they want more control of their life, right? Things are going out of control, and you see that more and more, I'll bet.
It's all about control.
It is. It's about planning and anticipation and control so you can feel peaceful. And people want that. And where that applies to business, even if I use Mike's business, which is probably the least technologically changing, although it's not, he's Western Roofing, it's not, it doesn't, he showed me his business card, which is printed on a piece of the roofing sample. The technology is racing ahead in that field too, but his business and some of the other businesses are not as affected by technology. But this one this one, Mike, affects you. People want more control. That means when they hire you, when they talk to you about getting hired, about contracting with your company, they want to know more information than they ever did before. They want to check you out more than they ever did before. They don't trust until they do check you out. So people want more control, and that is happening. And he just said it's true. It's happening in everybody's business. People want more control, and that makes a big difference in how you sell your services. A big difference. Relationships are multiplying. I guess we all know that. 100 years ago, it was lucky if a person had 5 to 10 friends, seriously, that they talked to intimately or talked to at all about their life or their business. Today, many of us have 500 friends that are on that same level. Now, I have through LinkedIn, I have 7,000 first contacts, over 7,000. Do I know them all? No, I'm an open networker. I don't know them all. But do I know 500 to 1,000? I actually do. Well enough to write them a letter using their first name, write them an email, write them a text message using their first name, and knowing they'll respond to me because they know who I am. That's incredible change. That is unbelievable. Because of that, transparency and accountability are way up. The negative side of that is we're losing our privacy. Everything is monitored. I went to the gas station one day after getting off the plane and renting a car, and I had to fill unlike most rental agencies give you the car full, this one forgot, and I didn't have any gas. So I went right from the airport to the gasoline station, and I put my credit card in the gas pump, and lo and behold, it didn't go. And I went they had to go in and talk to them. My credit card company thought I was in the state of Maine, and I was way across the country and I had just charged something in the state of Maine that day, and now I was across the country, so they assumed it was fraud. That's how close they monitor you. Everybody knows what you're doing. And not only that, but people can check you out today on your website, on your LinkedIn page, on your Facebook page, somehow. They can find out about you more than they ever could. And that means that transparency of who you are and what you are is way up, and accountability is way up. And I think that's going to really impact not only the governments, as it's now doing in the Middle East, but it's going to impact governments and business everywhere. And it's just going to get more and more. You're going to see more and more change in that area. Number 6, ideas and information are now free. We were told in the 20th century that we were an information society, and that the people who had the information would be able to sell it for premium prices, and we would all get rich selling information. And in just a short period of time, that's not true anymore, because information is basically free. You can Google just about any subject and get information just like that. And there's very little that's hidden, very little that you can't get to. And so when you can't sell information, what can you sell? What you can sell is your judgment, your reputation, the systems you use in your office or your business, the team that you put together locally here in Golden or wherever you are, the track record that you build, like Mike has in Western Roofing, where people like Brian can say, we used him and it's really good. And finally, collaborators are the winners today. Again, in the 20th century, it was all about competition. Today, it's all about collaboration, and that is the new way to sell. It's the new way to compete. And if you're trying to beat people, if you're trying to have a zero-sum game out there where you win and somebody else loses, that's not the paradigm that's going to work from now on. Those are the major changes.